You and I can do nothing to save the world. However, the flame of our enthusiasm can be hope for those around us in moments of darkness. Now to control your breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our noses and breathe out through our noses. So breathe in and feel the air going into your lungs and filling you up with air, and then feel the air going out as you empty your lungs as the air goes out. So feel the air going in, feel the air going out, feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Okay. We have been lucky enough to be the first generations of humanity to get the greatest pleasure and the greatest emotional benefits of all time, being able to listen to all types of music, anytime, anywhere, and in almost all the corners of the world. These songs are from the 70s. So I'd like you to visualize, if you can, and maybe even hear Victor Manuel singing El Abuelo Victor, Granddad Victor. Now, if you can think of Juan Manuel Serrat singing Mediterranean, famous song. Maybe you can visualize Maria Ostiz singing Un pueblo es, a village is. Now can you visualize and hear the voice of Julio Iglesias singing Un canción a Galicia, a song for Galicia. Now can you envisage and hear the voice of Luis Eduardo Audi singing Así es mi tierra, this is what my country's like. And now visualize and hear the voice of Victor Manuel singing La Romaria, about music and dance in the local party. Now, if you can visualize and hear the voice of Paret singing Boriquito como tú, a dumb bunny like you. Maybe now you can visualize Rocío Dúrcal singing about Los Nardos, Polyanthus, lovely flower. Now if you can visualize Adamo and hear the voice of Adamo singing Mis manos en tu cintura, my hands on your waist. Now if you can visualize and think of the voice of Boney M singing The Rivers of Babylon. Now, if you can visualize and think of Rocío Jurado singing La Caprichosa, a fussy thing. And if you can visualize Camilo Sexto and hear his voice singing La amor de mi vida, the love of my life. Now if you can visualize and hear the voices of Mochidados singing Eres tú, you. And if you can visualize Kolachi singing Poco a poco me enamoré de ti, little by little I fell in love with you. Now if you can visualize Santana and hear the incredible piece Flor de Luna, Moonflower. ABBA. Visualize ABBA singing Chiquitita. Now can you visualize and hear the voice of Elsa Baezas singing Creo, I believe. And now the voice of Janet. Hear the voice of Janet. Visualize Janet singing Soy rebelde, I'm a rebel. And now if you can visualize Cecilia singing Ramito de Violetas, a bunch of violets. Now if we can visualize Juan Pardo, see if you can hear Juan Pardo's voice singing Mi guitarra, my guitar. And now if you can visualize Juan y Junior. See if you can hear them singing the song they sang about Andoriña, who was a little girl, a naughty little girl who ran away from home in Galicia. I think Picasso painted a picture about the song. Lorenzo Santamaria. Imagine him, or hear his voice, singing Para no me olvides, so you don't forget me. If we can now think of Sandro Giacobbe and El Jardín Prohibido, the prohibited garden, or the forbidden garden. Now if we go to Daniel Margal, envisage him and hear his voice singing Cara de Gitana, the face of a gypsy girl. Now if you can envisage Elsa Baeza and hear her voice singing El Cristo de Balaguiña, somewhere in Nicaragua, I think. Now if you can visualize Camilo Sexto. Vivir así el morir de amor. To live like this, to die of love. And now if you can envisage Emilio Jose singing his song soledad, loneliness. And now envisage Cecilia singing her song Dama Dama about a great woman, Dame. You can now visualize Albert Hammond and hear his voice singing Eres toda una mujer, you're a perfect woman. And now if you can envisage Roberto Carlos and hear his voice singing El gato que está triste y azul, the cat that is sad and grey. If you can envisage Pablo Albornoz singing his song Gavilán or Paloma, sparrowhawk or bird of prey, or a dove. Now if you can envisage Luis Eduardo Aute and his voice singing the song For Alba. Now if you can envisage Parales singing Mi amas, call me. Rafael, envisage Rafael, mi gran noche, my greatest night. If you can envisage Sergio y Estabaliz and their voices singing Tu volverás, you'll come back. Now, Demis Roussos. Visualize Demis Roussos and hear his voice singing Quisiera bailar contigo esta canción. I'd like to dance this song with you. And now visualize Cecilia and hear her voice singing Mi querida España, my beloved Spain. Now if you can envisage Nino Bravo, and if you can hear his marvelous voice singing Libre, free. And if you can visualize Miguel Rios and hear his voice singing El Himno de Alegría, the Song of Joy, based on the Ninth Symphony. And there you have it. All of those songs, listen to them. They're landmarks in our musical history. Now we're going to relax. So, relax your feet. That's it. Relax your legs. Okay. Relax your hips. Now relax your body, the trunk of your body. Relax your arms. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Relax your lips. Relax your eyes. Relax your forehead. Now, imagine that your head is like a balloon. It's floating in the air. So imagine this balloon, your head, is floating. It's weightless, doesn't weigh a thing. It's floating, it's floating. Think to yourself, my head is floating. My head is floating. My head is floating like a balloon in the air. My head is floating. My body is like a balloon. My arms, my legs, my body's like a balloon, weightless, doesn't weigh a thing. Like a balloon. My body is weightless, it's floating. My body is floating. Floating, it's floating. It's floating. My body is floating, doesn't weigh a thing. My body is weightless. It's floating, it's floating. It's floating. My body is floating. My feet up don't weigh a thing. My legs don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body doesn't weigh a thing. My arms don't weigh a thing. My neck doesn't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. My forehead doesn't weigh a thing. Weightless, totally weightless. And I'm floating. You're floating in the air like a balloon. My head is like a balloon. My body is like a balloon. Weightless, weightless, floating, floating. My body is floating, floating. My feet are weightless. My legs are weightless. My hips, my body, my arms, my neck, my jaw, my lips, my eyes, my forehead, all weightless. They don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. I'm floating like a balloon in the air. Like a balloon in the air, I'm floating. I don't weigh a thing. My body is just floating. Floating, floating, floating. My body is floating. My legs don't weigh a thing. My feet don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body, my arms, my neck don't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. Like a balloon floating in the air. Floating in the air. Weightless. Floating, floating, floating. My body is 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 floating. Floating. My body is floating. My body is floating. My body is floating. My body is floating.